Hey friends, welcome back to the Gentleman's Journey. Now guys, in this one, this is a much requested video, and that is the 1-year review of the Tecovas Banderas. Now friends, this video is actually almost at the 2-year mark, and let me explain myself. If I did a 1-year review, I just wouldn't have wore them enough in that 1-year period of time. So that's kind of why we actually did this 2 years out. Now my apologies, but friends, when I first bought these boots, I owned a cleanup and hauling business, and my life has changed quite a bit. So we're on the road a lot, and I haven't been wearing these. In fact, a portion of the time, because we travel in an RV, I didn't even bring them with me. Now friends, we're over here in Texas, and so it's kind of one of those things that, you know, I love cowboy boots. I've always wore them my whole life, so not trying to be a poser, but you know, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. So why could I not wear my cowboy boots when we're off in Texas? So these guys have actually been getting some good use, and I am excited to bring this video to you. So friends, again, these are the Tecovas. This is the Bandera, and it is a man's boot. This is a work boot, and I was so excited when I got these boots. Again, friends, I grew up in cowboy boots, and it's been something I've had for a long time. So I've been totally stoked about these. Really sad that I couldn't wear them as much. And you know what? We're actually headed from Texas. We'll make our way up to Montana and Wyoming, and we do some rodeo stuff. So guys, they're gonna be getting a lot of work, just maybe not the work that I intended for them. So I had a cleanup and hauling business, and for whatever reason, I prefer a cowboy boot. I just kick them around. Let's see, some of them have some big old scuff on the toe and here. You know, I will be kicking metal off the side of my trailer or this and that, and they're just really tough. Some of the places I go, I do like them to be pretty tall, just because if I hit snakes or different things, I really like some protection up the side. Now friends, basically what we do on these 1-year reviews is we get into the nitty-gritty, how they performed, are they everything that I thought they would be, go back and readdress some of the sizing and stuff like that. And I gotta tell you friends, I really have wore these a lot, and they are holding up every bit that I thought they would. As far as the leather, I've cleaned and conditioned them a couple times. Because they're a work boot, I obviously want to make sure and keep them conditioned. I always run some boot trees. Well, these are shoe trees, but I run those in there. Of course, they do make boot trees that go the full length for Western boots, but always kept the moths and different bugs and spiders out with these. Like, keeps the moisture out. I have a whole video on these, but at any rate guys, I have conditioned them. You know, I've actually ran saddle soap on them. A lot of guys are indifferent about that, but I ran some saddle soap on there, and I like the Big 4. If you go into any Western store, I can about guarantee you're gonna see some Big 4 in there, and that's what I ran on these guys, and it's done really well. Again, I talked about in the first video doing water-based. You can run any kind of conditioner you have, especially with these being a work boot, and obviously it has its own neat patina, but I haven't tried to, you know, be a naturalist for these, a purist if you will. I haven't tried to keep that original look, because all I really need is some leather that's going to protect my feet. That's the essence here, but I do think that in them getting dirty and work boots, they do give off kind of a cool guy style, cool guy vibe, and maybe the guy in the room that you don't want to mess with, or at least make friends with, because you can tell he had some miles under him. But the conditioning has been very easy. You know, I'll brush them down with a horsehair brush, clean them. I've done saddle soap, and I've done some Cobbler's Choice leather cleaner on there, so I've done a few different things there. And then of course that Big 4, so that's been nice. The leather looks, in my opinion, just as good as it did day one. Nothing really sags. Again, I don't use anything in the upper to keep it, but it's held shape, has phenomenal stitching on there, and nothing is blown out. You know, I was bragging about these pull tabs, how much I really like to be able, I have big fingers, and to be able to get my hands in there and pull on, because sometimes Western boots, cowboy boots, are a bit of a chore to get on. You know, if they fit right, they're snug, and so getting a big old foot in there, I pull the heck out of these, and they have held up really well. Down through to the welt, everything is looking a-okay there. Again, these boots are fully resolable, but the welt is looking really good, and that's with me kicking them around pretty hard. I haven't babied them one bit. Again, one of the things that really attracted me to this boot was the outsole. So happy that Vibram has teamed up with Tecovas, and just one heck of an outsole. I've had a lot of Western boots in my time, and the traction on this thing is next to none. So the heel's looking good. It's not pulling off or anything like that. That's something you look for on a high heel boot, if you will, that starts to separate. And of course the cobbler could fix that or repair it, but we have none of that here. So again, you read different reviews or you get on to websites and guys will have, you might be the one that just completely disagrees with me and got the one that got away from the company. Maybe they forgot to glue it or this or that. But friends, I would say as a whole, you can really trust this brand. So I think they're going to be seeing a lot of use here coming up. Like I said, I'd love to answer any specific questions. I've tried to do that over the last couple years. Again, truly, if you look back some of the videos, this is one of the most requested. When am I going to get that out? And I'm so happy that we got to do that today. Something I got with these that I have wore, I could have done a 1-year review. I've probably wore this belt every day of my life for the past couple years. So this belt I got free when I got the boots, and it's hard to believe that the inside was actually natural leather and then the outside was dyed. But this one is kind of a different story. So I am impressed that for the last 2 years I wore it every day and that it has held up, but I can't say I'm impressed with the belt as a whole. I actually have kept a really good eye on conditioning it, you know, not just when I'm conditioning these boots, but if I have my conditioner out, you know, if need be, I'll hit some of my other leather products like gloves or a belt or a wallet or something. And I've actually kept an eye on this belt, to be honest with you. So right here where I obviously put my buckle through, it's just tearing. So that's given me some insight, literally, as I look through the hole there to how the belt was constructed and stuff. And obviously it's 2 pieces of leather with another piece through the middle. That's how it gets this puffiness. So it's not actually that thick of leather. There's a thin lining on the inside, thin outside, and a chunk through the middle. And friends, I think it's just too thin of leather to handle everyday use like that. I would probably grab one of these Tecova belts and use it as your dress belt. Maybe if you're going to church on Sunday mornings, taking your wife out dancing or something with your Tecovas. Even though I'm still using it, I do think it's probably more in the dress line. So obviously that leads me on my pursuit towards finding the right belt. There's so many I got my eye on. Of course, Hank's belts. There's been some, I know a lot of companies, Thursday have their own belts and stuff like that. So I'm out there on the search for belts. Of course, drop me a comment if you guys have an idea on a belt that you'd like to see on the channel. But you know, I'd say this still gets, not that we do ratings on this channel, but we'll just say it gets a B for a grade because it is 2 years of solid use. So I'll make sure and update you guys. It might not come out in like a Tecovas video, but maybe on a My Boot Collection 2023 or something, maybe we'll bring it back up. So be looking for that, friends. But back to the boots here. In terms of the fit, so I'm typically, like, I'm a size 12 on a Brannick device, and then in a lot of boots, I'll go down to 11, like my Iron Rangers, my Nicks and Whites and stuff like that. My Thorogoods are 11s. I did get 11.5 in my Thursday boots because I started at a 12, even though strangely those never hurt my feet. I went down to 11.5 in Thursday, and I think that's a good spot for me. These guys, I also got 11.5, and so I've been giving some thought to that, especially making the video and trying to give you guys the best information I can. So again, based on my size 12, you know, I went down to 11.5, and I really think that with a good sock, that's the go for me. If I was in a store, maybe I would try an 11 and just see if it was unbearable. But I haven't noticed these to expand a lot. So I wouldn't say that this is something that's going to stretch, that you should really be worried about getting a size too small that it's going to expand. That just hasn't been the case for me. So friends, I hope that gives you just a little bit of help in terms of the sizing. I'm a size 12 branding device. I went down to 11 and a half. A lot of boot makers say size half size down to a full size. For whatever reason, like in Thursday Boot Company, I will go the full size down. In Red Wings, I'll go the full size down, and that seems to work. But some of these companies, I just do a half size, and that's what works for me. So, you know, if you're lucky, you can get into a Tecovas store. It's a brand that's growing. Of course, you'll find more in Texas right now. I think there's some in the South, and they're popping up here and there. But at any rate, they have a good return policy, so you can try them on, just like I said, not on the ranch, maybe in your living room on the carpet, and then you can send them back if you need to. I always recommend boot trees. Again, I have a video to that. Real quickly with the care instructions one last time. This boot, because it's a work boot, I haven't got too crazy. Tecovas have some really nice boots, some dress boots that I'm looking into that would have a specific care instruction that I would follow more closely if I had it for that reason. But these I just kick around. I mean, a guy ought to have a set of work boots that, there's a balance between disrespecting the boots and not caring for them, but yet still, you know, not babying them and worrying about it too much. So friends, I really hope you're enjoying this content. I got some new boots coming. I can't wait to show you guys some of the stuff we got coming yet in 2023. So always enjoy the engagement down in the comments section. Until the next video, God bless, and hey, don't forget to give those boots some love from time to time.